All right. Welcome back to No Filter MMA. I'm back with another video short, guys. I hate to be making this video right now. And hopefully this ain't the end all for what's going on, but reports have come out that the UFC has released Montana De La Rosa, and I'm like scratching my head a little bit. I'm kind of confused as to why they would release De La Rosa. Like her opponent missed weight. Montana was a consummate professional. She was ready to go. And last I talked to Montana, she said that the UFC they were still, trying to get her a fight, and the UFC was in talks. She was in talks with the UFC to try to get a fight because of Luana Carolina missing weight. And then boom, Montana De La Rosa released. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm just trying to figure out, I get it, man. She lost those 3 fights in a row to Macy, to JJ, to Tatiana. She lost those fights, and that didn't look so good for her. And then boom, she bounces back with a dominant win over Andrea Lee, which Andrea Lee was in the dumps already. I get that, but at that point, they were fighting for their job, and Montana was able to keep, should have been able to keep her job. She went out there and won the fight and showed improvements and showed that, she was a better fighter than Andrea Lee. And boom, not boom. Next was, okay, we're going to give her a fight against Luana Carolina. This fight to me, and pretty much should have been to everybody else, a fight that had ranking implications to it. Whoever won this fight should be in the top 15. And then boom, Montana De La Rosa released from the UFC. But sometimes they do things like this. I've seen this before, like mostly recently with Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens has been cut from the UFC, and then they re-signed him just because they're coming to his hometown. So I just really, really hope that the UFC and Team De La Rosa come to some kind of agreement, man, because I think it's a little bit of a premature cut, man. And judging by what's being said, in the MMA world, everybody's looking at this release with like a scratching their head. You know what I'm saying? And I get a lot of new people are coming in, but man, I was looking forward to De La Rosa versus Luana Carolina. Luana Carolina should have been the one who gets punished, for not making weight. Not De La Rosa. Never missed weight. Only pulled out of a fight, once or twice? Out of how many fights in the UFC? Man. And was ever improving, but I don't even want to say, the words, it was too little too late, because I don't think it was, man. And not just because I'm a fan of De La Rosa, but when you got a solid contender like De La Rosa, man, who, was a tough test for some of these up-and-coming fighters, man, that could have been a tough test, who could have made some money off of beating these newer girls in the division like the Petrovics and all the other new flyweights coming in who could have been that, she could have been there, honestly, a gatekeeper for them. But, that would have been a tough gatekeeper. That would have been a real tough gatekeeper. But, man, I don't even really know what to say about it. I really hope things turn around. I really hope they, give her another fight, let her prove herself. I did send Montana a message, hadn't heard back from her yet. I'm just wondering, is there anything going on? She's kind of tight-lipped about it, so maybe there is something going on where they're going to try to give her another fight or something like that. I think something like that is going on, because she hasn't said anything. She hasn't said anything on social media, and most fighters say things after they've been released. She hasn't said much at all. So I'm just hoping that something happens and we get Montana a fight, because she had another fight left on her contract. We need to give her a fight and give her a chance to prove herself, give her a chance to make the UFC reconsider. No, I'm supposed to be here. No, I'm supposed to be here. So we'll see, man. But man, that breaks my heart that they seeing that article that says, UFC flyweight veteran released from the UFC. I'm like, wait a minute, Montana And shout out to Combo Breaker 99. He was the one that let me know what was going on. It just breaks my heart, man. Been a De La Rosa fan since The Ultimate Fighter. But it is what it is. Since LFA. You know, so anyways, y'all let me know what you think. This is your boy BJ back from No Filter MMA. Drop those comments in the comment section. Hit that like, hit that dislike, and if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and your boy is out.